Good day everyone. Welcome to ITIS 103 Web Technologies course. Today, we will learn about Lesson 2, which is Introduction to HTML. Majority of the people around the world are internet users, and that includes you. And you might be wondering how websites are built, especially if you have no background or basic knowledge about it yet. So the core of this course is to teach students how to design web pages using HTML. From what you've learned in Lesson 1, a website is a collection of related web pages. So when you develop a fully functional website, you must design first each web page that it consists of. Each web page is a document commonly written in HTML. So HTML or Hypertext Markup Language is used for creating web pages. So it describes the structure of a web page. So the web has gone through many developments and changes over the years, but HTML has always been the fundamental language used to develop web pages. So through this course, you may start discovering that web designing skill in you and hopefully develop your interest to become a web designer or web developer in the future. So in this video, my discussion will focus based on the following objectives. So at the end of this lesson, you will be able to understand and learn what is HTML and the software used to write HTML tags, how to apply HTML tags, and the basic structure of an HTML file. So more videos are made available for you that contain more lessons about HTML. So here are some concepts about HTML which we need to understand before we learn how to write an HTML document. So let us try to learn first, what do we mean by hypertext in HTML? So hypertext is actually the method which lets you move around the web by clicking a special text called hyperlink. Not only text, but it can also be graphics or pictures or images, videos, and audios. So I am currently visiting right now the website of the Ministry of Tourism of the Sultanate of Oman. So this is their homepage. So the homepage is actually acting like a starting point of a website. So it gives you an overview what the website is all about. So as you move your mouse pointer over the page, you notice that at some point, the mouse pointer transforms into a hand. So whether in a text, for example, or through a picture. So this signifies that this picture or this text is actually a hyperlink. So for example, I'm going to click history. So I will be directed to the page that contains the history of Oman. So this hyperlink, is made possible with that concept of hypertext. So what about markup? So markup is what HTML tags do to the text inside them. So for example, I want the text to appear underlined, so I need to know the appropriate tag for underline. So markup language refers to the way tags are used to define the page layout and element within the page. The HTML documents are made up of text content and special codes known as tags that tells the web browsers how to display the content. So the tags are what separates the normal text from the HTML codes in the web page. So HTML documents are identified by their .html or .htm file extensions. So just like any other files, so files are recognized based on the extension, which represents what type of file and which program or software it is created. So in HTML, file is recognized by .htm file extension. So later you will see how we will save an HTML document with such extension. So you can edit the code of an HTML document using a text editor. So this text editor or HTML editor serves like an environment where we are going to write or edit our HTML document. So HTML is platform independent, so you can view web pages on any computer operating system. So it means that regardless of what operating system the user or the visitor is using, so they can still be able to see and view that HTML document. So the World Wide Web Consortium, or what you call as W3C, is the primary group guiding the evolution of the HTML language. So, giving you a small idea about W3C, so it is actually an international community where the member of the organizations, the public, work to develop web standards. So W3C developed protocols and guidelines over the web. So just imagine if no one is guiding the web, so you created one HTML-based website and it has to look and function the same in multiple browsers, like if the visitor or the user uses Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, or Internet Explorer, or Safari, and considering as well the multiple operating systems that they are using, like one is using Windows, the other one is Mac OS or Linux. So each user or visitor would use either their own browser and operating system. So W3C sets the standards. So when we publish a website, for example, we have to make sure that it passes through the W3C standard. So we need basic requirements when we start writing HTML document. So one of those is the HTML editor, which I have mentioned earlier. So we need to have an environment where we are going to create and modify our web pages or HTML documents. So there are a lot of HTML editors available. So we can actually utilize the built-in text editor if you are using Windows. So we have Notepad. So however, there are also other available professional HTML editors, but for beginners like you, Notepad is actually recommended. However, there are some advantages and disadvantages upon the use of such editors. So aside from Notepad, okay, which is a text editor, we can actually use also any word processor like MS Word. Okay, it can serve also as environment where we can write HTML document. Then we have Notepad++. Then we have also a visual editor. We have the Microsoft Expression Web, Adobe Dreamweaver. So this visual editor is having like what you see is what you get features. So it means that when you are writing the HTML document, it's not really like simply writing like what you are doing in Notepad or Notepad++. So not all the content of the website and the HTML tags, you really have to write everything in a visual editor. So there are already built-in tools where you can just drag and drop, and the designing is a lot more easier because what you see, how you design it basically in that editor is actually what it looks like also in the output or in the result. So unlike in a normal text editor like Notepad or Notepad++, everything is like heavy coding. You have to write everything. Then whatever you write in that editor, okay, that's also the things that will just come out, okay, in the browser. So for our course, we will introduce you the Notepad++. So we will be using this HTML editor, which is actually having a graphical user interface that would be hopefully more simple, simple and easy for you to manipulate or utilize later. So this is the icon of Notepad++. So actually, you can download the installer in the internet and install it in your own PC or laptop really. So once you open the Notepad++, okay, so this is now the environment. Okay, so this is where we are going to write our HTML document. So here, you have to write both the content of your web page and the HTML tags that will tell the browser how the content of your web page will be displayed. So the key to writing HTML document is actually with the HTML tags, because it's the one that tells the web browser how to organize and present text, images, and other web page content. So HTML tags is surrounded by angle brackets symbol. So let us have an example here. So I have here the text hello. So this can be considered now as a content of my web page, and I will do something about this text. So I want it to have underline. So I have to know the tag for underline. So the tag for underline is actually U. So as what we have just learned, tags should be surrounded by angle brackets. So if I want to underline the whole word hello, so I have to put an opening tag hue surrounded by angle bracket before that word, and I have to put a closing tag so that it will tell the browser that until this part only, you have to execute underline on that particular text. So this U is our opening tag that tells the browser that you have to start underlining from H, and underline will end only until O. So that's because we put there the closing tag. So the closing tag has actually a /. So closing tag is almost same with the opening tag, only the difference is that there is a / on it. So it will now determine, that this is the normal text and these are now the HTML tags that will be followed